And our job is to provide, I guess, proactive legal advice to the department leadership to make sure that the department carries out its mission, which is to protect the country, make sure the immigration system operates smoothly, but do it in a way that's mindful of the U.S. Constitution and federal civil rights protections. So that's what we do. And a lot of the work we do is we work with the key communities. So we work with the disability community when we're talking about emergency preparedness. We work with the Arab, Muslim, South Asian communities who have concerns about civil rights post 9/11. And what was fascinating about this conference was that it was bringing together intellectuals, community leaders, government officials, all to talk about this issue of integration, security, Muslim women, Muslim youth, etc. And we think that, yes, we have many challenges in this area, but we think that, A, we've done some good things right that we'd like to share, but also we could learn a lot from the Europeans and from other people and community leaders. I mean, just today I heard about a festival run in Holland called Ramadan Fest, and which is just blown away, entirely come up with by the community in Holland, the Muslim community, and how they try to reach out to their fellow Dutch citizens. And that's the great thing about this conference, is you get to hear about these ideas and how they've worked and how they haven't worked. And I think it's important that we have an honest discussion that there are concerns. A lot of times people raise issues and they deal with our policies, and people have problems with our policies. But oftentimes it's not so much the policy, because everybody, including Muslim Americans, Arab Americans, South Asian Americans, everybody wants to be on a safe airplane. But it's the implementation, how that policy gets executed. And an example is that sometimes people working at airports previously may not have been as familiar with certain cultural practices, and they may have thought, okay, that's suspicious behavior. Now, you have to look out for suspicious behavior, and we're trained to do that. But sometimes if someone's wearing a religious head covering or is praying, that isn't. So what we've done is we've said, okay, look, here's some training, and it's not sensitivity training. I don't like that term sensitivity. It's because we want our people to be professional. And so we call it cultural competency training. These are some tools about who Muslims are, who Arabs are, who South Asians are, and they'll let you do your job better. And that's, we've had some great success in that. Now, we still have a long ways to go, but I think we are making progress, and I think the community appreciates that. And we heard concerns from community members that you had very little children, who had a name maybe like Muhammad, a name that could be very common, who were not a 4-year-old that was not being allowed to board a plane. Now, obviously, a 4-year-old presents no threat. So we worked with the airlines and the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA, which deals with aviation security, and now there's a system where this is no longer a problem. Another issue, which is actually a great story that I like to share, is last year during Hajj, some community members said, look, we understand you have this new liquids policy about what you can carry on to airplanes. But many of our constituents, when they return from Hajj, they'll bring back holy water. And some other religious groups may have holy water as well. And so what are you going to do, or what should we tell our communities? So we did something very simple. We said, okay, we explained to our men and women, this is what the Hajj is. We didn't go into great religious detail, because that's not our job in government, just to let people know this is an event, just to be aware of that. If people are praying in airports or they're dressed in white, you should know. People may be coming back with holy water, so please let people know that if they are carrying these things on, to put them in their checked luggage, not to carry them on. And just by giving that some instruction, and working with the community, was able to solve problems. We prevented a problem from happening even before it could occur. So these are, again, small steps, but we are making progress. There's a role for governments. I think governments have a role when it comes to combating discrimination. Political leaders have a duty to make positive statements about inclusion, etc., and also to enforce the law. But ultimately, we believe it's up to communities to step forward and to help us tackle these challenges. And in the United States, they are. The Muslim American community, the Arab American community, they're working with the government to help shape our policies. They're taking an active role in civic life. And I think this is sort of the silver lining, because we're dealing with some very, very unfortunate realities when it comes to terrorism, security, etc. But if there is a silver lining, it's that now for the first time you've got Muslim American communities stepping forward and really defining who they are and what they believe. And I think if that's happening in Europe, it seems to be happening in Europe, and if we can get these communities to work together and to build a Dutch Muslim identity, an American Muslim identity, that's positive. So I'm hopeful. We'll see, but I guess it remains to be seen what will happen.